History and General Information. 1.1 Present the history of Thang Long-Hanoi. Welcome to Hanoi. Hanoi is proud to be one of 28 capitals over 1,000 years old in the world. Turn back the hands of time, when Lai Tai-Tu ascended the throne in 1009 in Hoa Lu, Ninh Binh Province. He supposed that Hoa Lu is sunken, small and narrow, not suitable for the capital. Thang Long or Hanoi was chosen to become the capital because King Lai Tai-Tu believed that this area is the center of heaven and earth, with the position of a coiled dragon and sitting tiger. It has a wide and flat land, high and bright terrain, people don't live in a dark and low place. Thereby, King Lai Tai-Tu relocated the capital from Hoa Lu to Thang Long in 1010. Why was this territory named Thang Long? In autumn of 1010, King Lai Tai-Tu's fleet had just docked Dai La Citadel when the king saw a golden dragon flying up, so he named this area as Thang Long. Thang in Vietnamese means flying and Long means dragon. Besides, Thang Long means flying dragon represents the desire of the king about the prosperity and wealth of this area. How about the name Hanoi? In 1831, Kin Min Maing merged Thang Long and some other neighborhoods and named it Hanoi. Hanoi in Mandarin means inside the rivers because Hanoi is surrounded by Red River in the east, Day River in the south and Nu River in the west. And the name Hanoi was used until today. French colonialists occupied Hanoi in 1883, marked the domination of French colonialists over Hanoi. In this period, French colonialists invested a lot of money into Hanoi to build hospitals, schools, roads, railways, and other infrastructure, and transferred Hanoi became the capital of Union Indochina. That things show us that Hanoi has an extremely important geopolitical position in the history of Vietnam. 1.2 When and how was the Old Quarter first established? The Old Quarter is a symbol as well as a famous tourist attraction of Hanoi. It consists of 76 streets and surrounded by streets Hang Bong, Hang Gai, Ca Go and Hang Thung in the south, Tran Not Duet and Tran Quang Kai in the east, Hang Dao Street in the north and Phung Hung Street in the west. This area is a precious cultural space containing customs and traditions of ancient Vietnamese people. Turn back the hands of time, we can learn more the history of the Old Quarter. The Old Quarter established in 11th century associated to establishment of Thang Long during Lai Tran dynasty. This area was place for producing handicrafts, trading, living and doing business of the people of the capital and the other neighborhood. Doing business and trading in this area was bustling and busy because it had a favorable position. It bordered with the imperial citadel of Thang Long, where king and royalty live, in the west and bordered with Red River in the east, so it was convenient for water transportation. 1.3 The development of the Old Quarter in different periods. 1. During Lai Tran dynasty, 11th to 14th century. The Old Quarter established in 11th century associated to establishment of Thang Long during Lai Tran dynasty. This area was place for producing handicrafts, trading, living and doing business of the people of the capital and the other neighborhood. Doing business and trading in this area was bustling and busy because it had a favorable position. It bordered with the imperial citadel of Thang Long, where king and royalty live, in the west, so it was convenient in supplying goods and handicrafts to royalty and court officials. Moreover, this area bordered with Red River in the east, so it was considered as a small port where was convenient for water transportation. The characteristic of this area is that people from different regions migrate here and establish trading streets to a certain product. The place sold clothes, the other place sold votive offerings, sold bamboo, sold poultry, sold combs, thereby, the Old Quarter has been the most craft villages and communal houses in Vietnam. 2. During La Dynasty, 15th to 18th century. During this period, the Old Quarter throve the strongest and became the economic center of Vietnam, as well as the place was the most populous place in Thang Long. Chinese businessmen from Guangdong Province, Fujian Province of China came here to do business and established Chinese communities. Chinese had lived mainly in Hang Bum Street and Lan Ong Street. Nowadays, you can visit Fujian Assembly Hall at 40, Lan Ong Street to learn about the remains of Chinese at here. The fact that had many people from different regions and Chinese came here to live has created a cultural exchange and unique features of Hanoi Old Quarter. 3. During the French colonial period, the late 19th to the mid-20th century. A terror occupying Hanoi in 1883, French filled all ponds, lakes, and renovated roads in the old quarter. At the same time, they also eliminated 2 small market and erected 1 big market called Dong Xian Market. In this period, French and Indian also came and did business in the old quarter. It could say that this period is the most developed of the old quarter when it drew Vietnamese, Chinese, French and Indian came here to trade and work. Besides, the architecture of houses in the old quarter was also influenced by French architecture, created an original combination of architecture here. 1.4. How were ancient streets in the old quarter established? The old quarter established in 11th century associated to establishment of Thang Long during Lai Tran dynasty. The geographical location of this area was so favorable when it bordered the imperial citadel in the west, being convenient to sell goods and provide king, royalty, court officials, and bordered Red River in the east, being convenient for ships and boats docked to transport goods and products. Because its favorable geographical location, so this place attracted many pe. 2. Ancient house at number 87 Ma Mei Street. 2.1 Present the house's history and usage in different periods. Welcome to the ancient house at number 87 Ma Mei Street. This house is one of 14 ancient houses in Hanoi built in the late 19th century that still retains its original features. Also, it was recognized as a national heritage of Vietnam in 2004. Before 1945, the house belonged to a family doing business in the rice sector. From 1945 to 1954, it belonged to a Chinese merchant to trade in Chinese medicine. From 1954 to 1999, there were 5 different families living here. In 1998, after getting agreement with people living here, Hanoi authorities cooperated with Toulouse City, France, to restore it and complete it in 1999. In 2004, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism recognized it as a national heritage and it became a tourist attraction that attracts many tourists to visit. 2.2 Present the house's architecture features. 2.2.1 Why does the house have a tube shape? Why are the houses in the old quarter very narrow? An interesting characteristic of the ancient house is its tube shape. To explain for this, some experts said that the old Hanoi people often divided their land into small plots to sell or hire for business, therefore it created plots with narrow frontage. Also, some people said that plots having narrower frontage could have to pay less business tax. 2.2.2 What are the French architectural details in the ancient house? The French architectural detail in the ancient house is expressed through all the walls painted with yellow. We can see all French works painted with yellow from Hanoi Opera House, Presidential Palace, St. Joseph's Cathedral Hanoi, Hanoi Post Office. Why is this? There are 2 reasons. Firstly, French realized that Hanoi has beautiful sunlight in spring, summer, and autumn, so houses painted with yellow, then whole city was like a huge mirror to reflect sunlight, it became very gorgeous, very vibrant. Secondly, Hanoi has tropical climate, it is so hot and humid and this condition is perfect for moss, so if we paint the wall in white, it looks quite dirty. In contrast, we paint the wall in yellow, when moss grow, that thing make the wall become more ancient, more captivating. 2.2.3 What are the Vietnamese architectural details in the ancient house? The ancient house has the typical architecture of Vietnamese traditional houses. It is tube-shaped with a narrow frontage is about 5 m, the length is so long about 26 m. The special thing is that this house widens at the back and its backage is about 6 m. This thing will bring good luck and prosperity to the owner later. The original feature of this house is divided into 03 sections and each section is separated by a courtyard for light and air circulation. Plus the first section is used for selling goods on the first floor, receiving guests, and worship on the second floor. Plus the second section is used as a warehouse and accommodation for the servants on the first floor, bedrooms owner and drying yard on the second floor. Plus the final section is rainwater tank, kitchen and toilet. The house is made of wood, bricks, tiles, sand, lime, not using steels and cement. As you can see, the house has wooden windows, wooden doors, wooden pillars, and the roof covered with Enyang tiles. 2.3 Present the significance of Vietnamese traditional kitchen and family meal. Vietnamese traditional kitchen plays an important role in the Vietnamese culture because it represents happiness, coziness, harmony, and abundance of a family. Therefore, when designing kitchen, the homeowner is so careful to choose the direction for placing stove to suit feng shui. Normally, the northeast direction is the best choice, followed by the south direction, the west direction. Besides, the stove belongs to fire, so it is afraid of water, and the stove shouldn't be placed on the drain or water pipe. Also, the stove shouldn't be placed opposite to the toilet door and the bedroom door to avoid bad things and harming to the health of family members. Family meal is more than just a meal, it is a place for family members gather, talk, tell stories, and have fun to bond them together. Besides, this is the occasion for parents, grandparents teach their children about manners, etiquettes, and code of conduct in life. 2.4 The meaning of threshold/doorsill, bao qua, in ancient Vietnamese architecture. Firstly, doorsill plays a role as a wall to separate between inside space and outside space of the house. Secondly, doorsill prevents animals, livestock run into the house. Next, when someone steps over doorsill, their heads will bend naturally, and this thing symbolizes the respect to homeowner. Finally, when homeowner sweep rubbish inside the house, rubbish couldn't be swept directly outside, rubbish must be collected inside the house before taking away. This. 3. Ancestor worship and related information. 3.1 Present the history, tradition, and significance of ancestor worship in the Vietnamese culture. History. Ancient Vietnamese in primitive times lived mainly by hunting and gathering. Their life depended on the nature totally, so for this reason, they formed rituals of worshipping gods such as mountain god, river god, forest god to seek the protection. And this god worship is good condition for formation of ancestor worship of Vietnamese later. Next, when China invaded and dominated Vietnam in the 2nd BC, Confucianism and Taoism were also spread into Vietnam. Then Buddhism was introduced to Vietnam in the 1st BC by Indian monks. All three religions have contributed to the formation of Vietnamese ancestor worship. Firstly, about the contribution of Confucianism, it encourages ancestor worship to form discipline and morality of the society. Secondly, about the contribution of Taoism. It supposes that when people die, they will go to the other world and their souls will exist forever, and this soul has extraordinary power, can travel through clouds and wind, can cause positive and negative impacts on the living. Therefore, descendants must worship their ancestors to be blessed and avoid being blamed. Finally, about the contribution of Buddhism, it encourages practicing gratefulness. Children must be grateful to their parents, grandparents. Descendants must be grateful to their ancestors through worship method. In summary, there are 4 factors forming ancestor worship in Vietnamese culture, including God worship, Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Reason for worshipping ancestor. Firstly, descendants express respects and gratefulness to their ancestor. Secondly, to get blessings and avoid being blamed. When do Vietnamese people worship their ancestors? Worshipping takes place regularly on particular days such as Lunar New Year, Mid-Autumn Festival, Vu Lan Festival, the 1st and 15th day of lunar month, the death day of the ancestor. On important occasions, such as moving house, starting a business, the birth of a child. 3.2 Present the theory of 5 elements, Thuyen Gohan, and how the Vietnamese have incorporated the philosophy in family altars. The theory of 5 elements. This is an ancient philosophical theory of China. It said that whole energy and matter in the universe is composed of 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. This theory explained the motion, interaction, and transformation of all things through 2 main cycles, generating cycle and controlling cycle. Generating cycle, each element generates the next, like a mother give birth to a child. Wood generates fire, to burn wood to create fire, fire generates earth, ash from fire create earth, earth generates metal, metal is created inside earth, metal generates water, to heat metal to create water, and water generates wood, water nourish wood. Controlling cycle, each element controls the next, like a mother disciplines a child. Water control fire, water can put out the fire, fire control metal, fire can melt metal. Metal control wood, metal axe or metal knife can cut wood, wood control earth, would absorb nutrition from earth, and earth control water, earth can prevent flooding. Use, this theory is used in medicine, feng shui and architecture, cuisine and culture. How do Vietnamese people incorporate the theory of 5 elements in their altars? We can see there are enough 5 elements on the altar including metal, bronze vases, bronze pots. Wood, the altar is made of wood. Water, cups of water, flower vase containing water. Fire, oil lamp or candles. Earth, ceramic censers, ceramic vases. Besides, we also can a 5-fruit tray symbolize for 5 elements, metal, wood, water, fire, earth. Vietnamese people incorporate the theory of 5 elements in their altars to gain harmony, balance to wish for happiness, peace and good luck. 3.3 Present the meaning of the following offerings on an altar: burning incense, candle or oil lamp, flower, fruit and water. 1. Burning incense. It is originated from India, then it spread into China around the 3rd BC, next was introduced to Vietnam in the 2nd BC. People burn incense to make a quiet and holy space to connect easily to souls, gods, or ancestors. 2. Candle and oil lamp. Vietnamese people believed that they can light up the way of ancestors, thereby ancestor can come back to bless for offsprings. 3. Flower. It symbolizes the nobility and Vietnamese people use it to express the respect to their ancestors. 4. Phuet. It represents for the abundance, so it is used for wishing for abundance and good luck. 5. Water. People believe the dead are like the living, they also need to drink water and specially this kind of water is uncooked. 3.4 Present the meaning of the model on which a flamingo standing on a turtle. Turtle and flamingo are 2 creatures of 4 holy creatures in Vietnamese culture. Turtle lives in the water and symbolizes earth, flamingo lives in the trees and symbolize the heaven. Therefore, this model represent for the harmony between the heaven and the earth, between yin and yang. It expresses the desire for prosperity and peace of the Vietnamese people. 3.5 Why do your people burn votive paper products? In your opinion, is the exercise a good or evil custom? Should you keep burning votive products? Why do your people burn votive paper products? Because Vietnamese people believe the dead in the heaven has the same needs as the living. They also need money, golds, motorbikes, cars, phones, watches. Therefore, people burn votive offerings to meet the demand of the dead, and that exercise expresses their gratefulness and respect to the dead. In your opinion, is the exercise a good or evil custom? Should you keep burning votive products? In my opinion, I think that we should only burn a little of votive offerings on important occasions during the year such as Lunar New Year, Vu Lan Festival or the death anniversary to preserve the original cultural feature of Vietnam. 4. Question about Vietnamese coffee. 4.1 Present the history of coffee. According to the legend, in the 15th century in Kaffa Kingdom, nowadays is Ethiopia in Africa. Goat herders discovered some goats ate a type of red berry and then, they ran and jumped tirelessly until the midnight. Curiously, some people tried them and then they felt alert and could talk until late at night. Gradually, they learnt the way to make drink from this beans. The original method of making drink from coffee beans of people in Kaffa Kingdom was quite simple. They roasted coffee beans on a big pan, then they ground it, next they mixed it with sugar and put this mixture in a jar, added water and boiled it. Finally, they poured it into a bowl to drink. After discovering coffee in Kaffa Kingdom, trader and businessmen of Yemen have taken coffee to their country to grown. In the 16th century, coffee was introduced to Iran, Turkey, and North Africa. In the 17th century, coffee has spread throughout Europe and the rest of the world. 4.2 Present the origin and history of coffee in Vietnam. In 1857, the variety of Arabica coffee was taken into Vietnam by French missionaries. Then in 1908, French colonialists introduced the variety of Robusta coffee to Vietnam and founded farms in some regions such as Ninh Binh, Quang Binh, Central Highlands. After growing coffee in some different regions, they realized that the north and the central of Vietnam are quite cold in the winter and not suitable for growing coffee. Only central highlands of Vietnam including Doc Lac, Lam Dong, Con Tum, Gia Lai, Dak Nong is ideal for coffee trees because they have the mild climate all year round. At first, people grew both variety of coffee, Arabica and Robusta, but later they realized Arabica coffee weaker and more susceptible to pests than Robusta coffee. So Robusta coffee was grown mainly in Vietnam and accounts for more than 90% output. Nowadays, Vietnam becomes the second biggest coffee exporter in the world and coffee become the key economic sector of Vietnam. 4.3 What are the differences between Vietnamese coffee and the regular coffee in the world? Robusta coffee is popular in Vietnam, while the other countries prefer Arabica coffee, so what is the differences? Plus Robusta tastes bitter, while Arabica tastes sour. Plus Robusta is stronger than Arabica because the caffeine content of Robusta is double Arabica's. Robusta is about 3%, Arabica is about 1.5%. 4.4 Make a presentation on Giang Coffee. Giang Coffee was founded by Mr. Nguyen Van Giang in 1946 in Hanoi. Before 1946, Mr. Giang worked as bartender for Metropole Hotel, a 5-stars hotel in Hanoi owned by French. In 1946, Mr. Giang established a coffee shop at Ca Go Street. During this period, the economy of Vietnam was quite difficult, milk was rare and very expensive, so he used eggs instead of milk in making coffee to create a unique kind of coffee called egg coffee. Then Mr. Giang's coffee shop had closed due to two wars, the First Indochina War and Vietnam War. The coffee shop reopened in 1986 at Hang Gai Street. Then, the coffee shop was relocated to 39 Nguyen Hue Huan Street in 2007 and renamed Giang Coffee by Mr. Nguyen Tri Hoa, who is the youngest son of Mr. Giang. Besides, Mr. Giang's second son named Nguyen Tri Duc also founded another at 106 Yen Phu Street. 4.5 Make a presentation on how to make egg coffee. Ingredients. You need to prepare some ingredients as follows. Robusta coffee powder. 2 eggs. Sugar. Honey. Condensed milk. Recipe. Firstly, you pour coffee powder into the Vietnamese coffee filter and put it on the cup, then you add hot water into coffee filter. Drops of black coffee will drip through the filter and fall into the cup. Secondly, you crack eggs into a bowl, separate egg white from egg yolk and discard egg white, only keep egg yolk. Then you add sugar, honey, and condensed milk in it. After, you whisk this mixture until fluffy like cream. Finally, you pour this mixture into the cup of black coffee to create a cup of egg coffee.